I know you're a good person, but it's important to understand that not everyone shares your kind nature or intentions. Our hearts naturally want to believe in the good in people, and we often hold on to the hope that everyone can change for the better or that there's a solution for the problems of the world. It's an admirable trait to see potential in others, but if we're not careful, that same hope can lead us into dangerous or harmful situations. Sadly, there are people with malicious intent who thrive on manipulating or hurting others, and it's inevitable that they will cross our paths at some point. Pay close attention to the signs and trust your instincts when something feels wrong. You may have already met someone who is deeply cruel, who wounds others without a second thought and exploits weaknesses for their own gain. Sometimes, their actions are so subtle that we don't even realize the harm they're causing until it's too late. These people are often experts at hiding their true intentions behind a mask of friendliness or charm, but underneath, they harbor no empathy for the pain they inflict. Let's talk about the signs that you're dealing with someone like this. Some individuals will consistently try to shift blame onto you, making you feel guilty for situations you had no control over. Others may pretend to care about you when they're face-to-face, only to speak ill of you behind your back. The duplicity can be hurtful, especially when it comes from someone you trust. It's important to be prepared because those who seek to disrupt your peace won't always be outsiders. Sometimes, it's the people closest to us, the ones we least expect, who can cause the most pain. Family, without a doubt, is a blessing from God, a source of love, support, and connection. But we must remember that every family has its complexities, and unfortunately, some family members may gravitate toward a darker version of themselves. They may act out of jealousy, resentment, or other unresolved issues, and their behavior can be just as damaging as that of any stranger. It's especially painful when this happens, as we often hold family to a higher standard. But recognizing these toxic behaviors, even in those we love, is essential for protecting your emotional well-being and setting healthy boundaries. In the end, being a good person doesn't mean allowing others to mistreat you. It means knowing when to walk away from those who don't respect or value you, and embracing relationships that foster trust, kindness, and mutual growth. Stay vigilant, protect your heart, and don't be afraid to distance yourself from those who bring negativity into your life. After all, peace of mind and self-respect are worth far more than any relationship that seeks to diminish you. In today's video, I'll show you 9 signs, or rather 10 signs, that you're dealing with a bad person and what you should do when these people cross your path. Before the first sign, make sure you've hit the like button if you're someone who loves learning about life and wisdom. If possible, write this down. People want to see you well, but never better than them. This is pure truth. Let's go with the first sign. Number 1. Pleasure in others' pain. Evil people often take pleasure in seeing others suffer, and this is one of the most telling signs of a truly malicious character. If you know someone who seems to light up when others are in distress, whether they laugh, smile, or appear entertained by someone else's hardships, it's a clear red flag that you're dealing with a bad person. This disturbing behavior reveals a complete lack of empathy, and worse, it can escalate into them deliberately creating or encouraging harmful situations just to satisfy their own twisted enjoyment. Imagine a coworker who, instead of offering support when you're overwhelmed with work, takes pleasure in your struggles. Rather than lending a hand or showing compassion, they laugh at your difficulties, almost as if your suffering is a source of amusement. Or consider a friend who, when you confide in them about a personal problem, responds with cruel jokes instead of offering understanding or comfort. These behaviors are not just insensitive. They expose a cruel nature and a deep indifference to the pain of others. What's more alarming is that some people don't stop at passive cruelty. They actively seek out ways to provoke negative situations in the lives of those around them. Whether through spreading rumors, gossiping, or stirring up conflict, these individuals revel in the chaos they cause. They get a thrill from watching others squirm, hurt, or experience confusion, and they manipulate situations to maximize their ability to enjoy the suffering of others. They may pit friends or colleagues against each other, create misunderstandings, or deliberately sabotage relationships, all to observe the fallout for their own twisted pleasure. Recognizing these behaviors early is crucial to safeguarding your emotional health. Being around people who enjoy others' pain can drain your energy, lower your self-esteem, and lead to unnecessary stress. These individuals are toxic to your mental and emotional well-being, and their presence can lead to long-term harm. By identifying these signs of cruelty and malice, you can take the necessary steps to distance yourself from such individuals before they have the chance to cause deeper damage in your life. Prioritizing your emotional health means avoiding anyone who thrives on the suffering of others and surrounding yourself with people who uplift, support, and genuinely care about your well-being. Number 2. Need to control your life. Evil people are often characterized by their obsessive need for control. They thrive on manipulating the world around them, and they feel deeply unsettled when things don't go their way or when they can't dominate those in their orbit. Their need for control extends beyond their own lives, and they often seek to micromanage and dictate the lives of others, creating an environment of suffocation and oppression. This compulsion stems from a profound sense of insecurity and a desire to maintain power at all costs. Think about the boss who insists on reviewing every minute detail of your work, not because they want to provide guidance or support, but because they feel the need to control every aspect of the project. Their constant interference isn't about improving outcomes. It's about reinforcing their authority. Or consider the friend who always takes charge of plans, dictating where you go, what you do, and even who you interact with. In such relationships, there's no room for compromise or consideration of others' opinions. These controlling tendencies reveal a deep-seated need to dominate, and over time, they can become overwhelming and oppressive. People like this also use more subtle and manipulative tactics to maintain their control. They often create rigid, unyielding rules that dictate how others should behave around them. In personal relationships, they may resort to emotional blackmail, making you feel guilty for not adhering to their expectations or for asserting your own needs. A partner who monitors your every move, constantly asking where you are, who you're with, and what you're doing, doesn't do so out of love or concern. It's a means of asserting dominance, turning the relationship into a power struggle rather than a partnership. The danger of this need for control is that it doesn't just irritate. It can become genuinely harmful. People who are fixated on control often use their power to exploit and abuse others. In relationships, this can escalate into emotional, verbal, or even physical abuse as the controlling person's fear of losing their grip intensifies. At work, this behavior can lead to toxic environments where creativity and autonomy are stifled, and people are manipulated or coerced into submission. Recognizing these controlling behaviors is critical for preserving your emotional and mental well-being. It's essential to set clear boundaries with these individuals, understanding that their need for control is not your responsibility to manage. Healthy relationships, whether personal or professional, are built on mutual respect, trust, and the ability to compromise. If you find yourself being controlled by someone who refuses to allow space for your independence, it's vital to take steps to distance yourself and regain your autonomy. Taking back control of your own life may involve difficult decisions, such as leaving toxic relationships, standing up to controlling behaviors, or seeking outside help to navigate particularly challenging situations. But your freedom, peace of mind, and emotional health are worth the effort. Surround yourself with people who respect your boundaries and who value you as an independent person capable of making your own choices. Only by maintaining this independence can you protect your well-being from those who would seek to dominate and manipulate you for their own selfish ends. Number 3. Strange feeling when you're around them. One of the clearest signs you're dealing with a toxic or malicious person is the unsettling feeling you get when you're around them. You might not always be able to identify the exact reason, but your body and emotions often react in ways that signal something is wrong. Perhaps you feel inexplicably tired, restless, or on edge in their presence, even when they haven't said or done anything overtly harmful. This feeling isn't random. It's often your natural instincts warning you that something about the person is off. Consider the scenario of a family gathering, where everyone is laughing and enjoying themselves, except for that one person whose mere presence seems to drain your energy and make you feel tense. They may not be directly interacting with you in a negative way, yet something about them creates a palpable discomfort. This sensation could be a sign of underlying negative energy or even malicious intentions, and it's important to recognize it for what it is. Another common situation is at work, where a coworker makes you feel anxious or emotionally drained every time they come near. You might not be able to pinpoint their exact behavior that causes this reaction, but your body instinctively responds to their presence as if it's a threat. These feelings are not baseless. Often, our instincts pick up on subtle cues that our conscious mind may not yet understand, small, almost imperceptible signs of manipulation, insincerity, or aggression. Ignoring these internal warnings can lead to greater harm down the road. It's essential to listen to these feelings and trust them. If someone consistently makes you feel uncomfortable, there's likely a reason for it, even if it's not immediately obvious. Your body and mind are tuned to detect potential dangers, often before you can fully articulate them. Whether it's through a change in body language, tone of voice, or subtle behavioral patterns, your instincts are picking up on something that signals this person may not have good intentions. Giving importance to these feelings can help you avoid getting entangled in harmful or toxic relationships. By paying attention to these instinctive responses, you empower yourself to set boundaries and make decisions that protect your peace of mind and emotional well-being. After all, your inner peace is invaluable, and it's always better to be cautious than to regret ignoring your gut feelings later. Number 4, lack of responsibility. Evil people have a deeply ingrained habit of never taking responsibility for their actions. They deflect blame onto others whenever something goes wrong, and they often twist situations to make themselves appear as a victim. This refusal to own up to their mistakes can be incredibly damaging, especially when they manipulate others into apologizing for errors that aren't theirs. It's not just an avoidance of accountability. It's a deliberate strategy to maintain control and avoid the consequences of their behavior. Imagine a co-worker who fails to meet a critical deadline on an important project. Instead of admitting their fault or offering a solution, they immediately shift the blame onto someone else, perhaps accusing you or other team members of not providing enough support. They might say things like, "I could have finished it, but no one gave me the information I needed," or "I didn't know that was my responsibility." This constant finger-pointing creates a toxic work environment where trust breaks down, leaving you feeling unfairly blamed and possibly doubting your own actions. A personal example could be a friend who constantly gets into trouble or finds themselves in difficult situations. Instead of acknowledging that their poor decisions or reckless behavior led to these problems, they always find someone or something to blame. If they're late to an important event, it's never their fault. It's the traffic or someone who delayed them. If their relationship ends, it's because their partner was unreasonable, not because of anything they did. In doing so, they create an alternate reality where they are always the victim, and everyone else is responsible for their troubles. One of the most harmful aspects of this behavior is how skilled these individuals can be at manipulating others into feeling guilty for their shortcomings. They have a knack for twisting situations in a way that leaves you questioning whether you somehow caused the problem. You might find yourself apologizing for things that were never your responsibility in the first place, and over time, this can wear down your self-esteem. It's emotionally exhausting to constantly be blamed for someone else's actions, and the longer you remain entangled with such individuals, the more likely you are to internalize their accusations. Recognizing these behaviors is critical for protecting your mental and emotional health. These people thrive on dragging others into a cycle of guilt and manipulation, which can leave you feeling confused, frustrated, and powerless. By identifying the pattern early on, you can set boundaries to prevent yourself from getting drawn into their web of deflection and denial. It's essential to distance yourself from individuals who consistently refuse to take responsibility, as their behavior will only drain you of your energy and peace of mind. Taking a step back from these relationships allows you to preserve your well-being and avoid the toxic influence of people who never acknowledge their own faults. Number 5, Habit of lying. Evil people have a deeply ingrained habit of lying, and their deceit is not always for survival or necessity. It's often for personal gain, manipulation, or even just for the thrill of misleading others. These individuals don't value the trust others place in them, nor do they respect the relationships they are a part of. Instead, they prioritize their own selfish interests and use lies as a tool to achieve their goals, regardless of the damage they cause to those around them. Consider the example of a co-worker who consistently fabricates stories about their professional achievements. They might exaggerate their contributions to a project or even take credit for work they didn't do, all in an attempt to stand out or climb the corporate ladder. This kind of behavior not only undermines the integrity of the workplace, but also fosters an environment of distrust. When lies are used to manipulate or distort reality, they erode the sense of teamwork and fairness that is crucial for a healthy work environment. Another example could be a friend who habitually lies about small things, like why they couldn't make it to your event. They claim they were sick or had a prior engagement, but you later find out they were out having fun elsewhere. These seemingly trivial lies add up over time, and they reveal a deeper truth. The person doesn't care enough to be honest with you. In fact, their deceit reflects a lack of respect for your feelings, as they are willing to compromise your trust for their own convenience or amusement. One of the more insidious aspects of chronic liars is their ability to manipulate not just individual situations, but entire relationships. For instance, a romantic partner might lie about their feelings or intentions, keeping you in the dark about their true motives. They may say they love you or are committed to the relationship, all while acting in ways that betray that trust behind your back. This kind of manipulation is designed to keep you under their control, giving them an advantage in arguments or difficult situations. It's not just about what they gain. It's about the power they wield over you through their lies. Liars also thrive on creating chaos in social circles by spreading gossip or misinformation. They might fuel drama between friends or colleagues by twisting the truth, causing unnecessary conflicts and feeding off the tension that arises. These lies might seem insignificant at first, but over time, they create an atmosphere of distrust and suspicion. Relationships become strained as people start questioning the motives and integrity of others, all because of one person's dishonesty. The cumulative effect of constant lying is the slow but steady erosion of trust. Whether the lies are small or grand, their impact on a relationship is profound. Once you catch someone in a lie, especially if it's not the first time, it becomes hard to take anything they say at face value. You start questioning their sincerity in all aspects of your relationship, and the foundation of trust that's so essential for any meaningful connection begins to crumble. Recognizing and confronting habitual liars is crucial to preserving your emotional and mental well-being. If someone in your life constantly lies, you need to assess the impact of their behavior. Is it possible to maintain a healthy, trustworthy relationship with them? Or is their dishonesty slowly poisoning your interactions and damaging your sense of security? Ultimately, honesty is the bedrock of any strong relationship. Without it, there is no real foundation for growth, intimacy, or mutual respect. People who lie constantly cannot offer that foundation, and as hard as it may be, distancing yourself from such individuals might be necessary for your own peace of mind and long-term happiness. Number 6. Absence of remorse. Evil people exhibit a disturbing lack of remorse for their actions, which profoundly affects those around them. Their inability to feel guilt for the harm they cause is a key indicator of their malevolent nature. When confronted about their misdeeds, rather than showing any sign of regret, they manipulate the situation to make you question your own perception of reality. This tactic is designed to deflect blame and undermine your confidence in your own feelings and experiences. Consider the scenario of a colleague who takes credit for your hard work. When you address the issue, instead of apologizing, they justify their actions by claiming they merely assisted you or that your success was also their achievement. This response not only reflects a lack of empathy, but also highlights their self-serving and manipulative tendencies. By not acknowledging their wrongdoing, They reveal their deep-seated selfishness and lack of respect for others' contributions. Another example is a friend who frequently makes hurtful or disparaging comments. When you express how these remarks affect you, they might laugh it off, accuse you of being overly sensitive, or suggest you're overreacting. This dismissive attitude shows not just a lack of remorse, but a deliberate attempt to distort your perception of the situation. They aim to make you doubt your own feelings, effectively shifting the focus from their harmful behavior to your reaction. These individuals are skilled at turning the tables. When you highlight their mistakes or harmful actions, they quickly position themselves as victims, making you feel guilty for pointing out their behavior. This emotional manipulation is a clear indication that they are more concerned with maintaining their image than with genuinely addressing their wrongdoings. Their lack of remorse enables them to continue their harmful behaviors without fear of consequences, knowing they can always shift blame or twist the narrative to suit their needs. Recognizing the absence of remorse is crucial for protecting your emotional health. People who do not feel guilt for causing harm are likely to repeat their negative behaviors, as they face no real repercussions for their actions. Identifying this trait in someone and setting firm boundaries is essential to safeguard your well-being. If you find that someone consistently exhibits a lack of remorse, it may be necessary to distance yourself from them to maintain your own mental and emotional balance. Prioritizing your own health and peace of mind is crucial in dealing with individuals who consistently show no genuine contrition for their actions. Number 7. Cruelty. Some evil people prefer to act openly and cruelly. They can be aggressive, hurting others with words or actions, and delight in others' suffering. The lack of empathy and the ability to intentionally inflict pain are distinctive characteristics of this type of person. Think of a co-worker who doesn't hesitate to make malicious or humiliating comments in front of others. They may point out your faults cruelly or ridicule your ideas during meetings, not to offer constructive criticism, but to demoralize you. This behavior not only destroys the group's morale, but also creates a toxic and oppressive work environment. Another example is a friend who makes jokes about your insecurities or personal problems. Knowing it hurts you, they may mock you for something you shared in confidence, and upon seeing your reaction, seem to enjoy your suffering. This lack of empathy and pleasure in others' pain are clear signs of a cruel person. These people can also act aggressively, both verbally and physically. A partner who regularly insults you or physically abuses you is demonstrating open cruelty. The intention behind these actions is to hurt and control, showing a total disregard for others' dignity and well-being. Recognizing cruelty in someone is essential to protect your emotional and physical integrity. People who are openly cruel have no consideration for others' feelings and can cause deep and lasting harm. Setting boundaries and distancing yourself from these people is crucial to ensure your safety and peace of mind. If you're facing cruelty, don't hesitate to seek support and take steps to protect yourself. Number 8. Friends and family warnings about the bad person's character. If your friends and family are warning you about someone's character, it's important to take these warnings seriously. They may have witnessed toxic and harmful behaviors in the past. Don't ignore these signs, as what happened to them could happen to you if you're not careful. Imagine you start dating someone new, and soon your closest friends and family express concern. They mention that this person has a history of manipulation and disrespect in previous relationships. It can be difficult to accept these criticisms, especially if you're emotionally involved, but it's crucial to listen to these concerns carefully. Another example is when you start a new job and your colleagues quickly warn you about a specific supervisor. They tell stories of how the supervisor frequently takes out frustrations on subordinates, creating a tense and demotivating work environment, and never taking responsibility for their mistakes. These stories are not just gossip, but warnings based on real experiences that can save you from painful situations. These warnings from people close to you are valuable because they come from an external and impartial perspective. Your friends and family want the best for you and have nothing to gain by deceiving you. If several people are warning you about the same person, it's a strong sign you should be cautious. It's easy to ignore or minimize these warnings, especially if the person in question is treating you well at the moment. However, Recognizing and considering these concerns can save you a lot of trouble in the future. If someone repeatedly exhibits toxic and harmful behaviors, it's likely these behaviors will repeat with you. Take these warnings seriously and carefully observe the person's behavior. If you notice signs of manipulation, cruelty, or lack of responsibility, consider distancing yourself before it becomes too difficult. Your friends and family may see red flags that you, in the midst of the situation, may not perceive. Trust them and protect yourself from potential harm. Number 9, contempt. One of the most damaging forms of emotional manipulation is contempt. This behavior involves making you feel inferior by criticizing every aspect of who you are, your appearance, interests, dreams, and more. It's crucial not to let these individuals distort your self-image. Imagine being in a relationship with someone who persistently criticizes your appearance, pointing out your physical flaws as if they were irredeemable. They might say things like, "You could be more attractive if," or "Why don't you dress better?" Such comments are not meant to help but to belittle and undermine your self-worth. Similarly, consider a friend who ridicules your passions and achievements, dismissing your dreams as trivial or laughable. They may mock your interests or make you feel inadequate for pursuing your goals, effectively undermining your confidence and enthusiasm. This kind of contempt doesn't just hurt. It can make you question your own value and abilities. These individuals use contempt as a means of emotional control, aiming to erode your self-esteem and make you reliant on their validation. They want to reshape your self-perception to align with their needs and desires, showing little regard for who you truly are. You must resist letting these people define your worth. Your value is inherent, and you deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. If someone is consistently belittling you, it's a clear indication that they do not have your best interests at heart. Protect yourself by distancing yourself from those who seek to diminish you, and instead, cultivate relationships that support your personal growth and happiness. Surround yourself with people who celebrate and encourage you, and never settle for anything less than the respect and support you deserve. Number 10. Animal abuse. Animal abuse is a clear sign of a bad person. Cruelty towards animals can indicate deeper problems in someone's character. If you know someone who acts abusively or neglectfully toward animals, consider distancing yourself from that person. Imagine a neighbor who frequently abuses their dog, yelling at and hitting it for any reason. These actions not only cause suffering to the animal, but also reveal a lack of empathy and emotional control by the abuser. This abusive behavior can extend to other areas of that person's life. Another example is someone who keeps their animals in deplorable living conditions without proper care for food, hygiene, or health. Constant neglect shows a complete disregard for the life and well-being of the animals under their care. These actions should not be ignored. Studies show that cruelty toward animals is often linked to violent behaviors against humans as well. It's important to recognize these signs and consider the impact of being around someone with these traits. While it may be difficult to realize when we're blinded by friendship, love, or respect for someone, it's essential to prioritize the safety and well-being of the animals and ourselves. If you suspect someone is being cruel to animals, consider distancing yourself and, if possible, report the behavior to the appropriate authorities to protect the animals and prevent future harm. If you know other signs of a bad person that haven't been mentioned here, put them in the comments. I'd love to read your opinion. If you've made it to the end, write in the comments, "Good always triumphs over evil." If you found these insights valuable, make sure to hit the like button and also subscribe for more wisdom. Let's all be wiser today. Until next time.